here we go. Another gear list coming at you. This is going to be my Mule Deer gear list for an October-ish time frame. So this is going to be everything I'm going to carry for a solo hunt. So I don't have, the assistance of pack llamas. I don't have someone else to help share gear. So every piece here has to go in my backpack. And I'm going to start off right now and tell you guys the weight of my backpack, because that's something everyone always asks right away. And wrote myself a little sticky note so I won't forget. So total pack weight. This is a pack weight of everything except for water, obviously not my rifle, or anything I'm carrying on my body, like binos, that sort of thing. So total pack weight, roughly 44 pounds. And then once I hit the first stream, I'm gonna probably fill up 2 liters of water, and so that'll be 48.5 pounds. And I will put a caveat there, that's not including food. So food will probably be about, roughly that 2 pounds per day, maybe a little bit less. So that's gonna be probably another 10 pounds of food, because I'll probably pack for 4 or 5 days, come back out, resupply, because where I'm going is gonna be pretty steep and nasty. So I don't think I'll be able to carry a full on like 7, 8 days worth of food. So that's what you got, 44 pounds, full pack weight. We'll start off with all the gear I'll be wearing on my body. We'll go with the old trusty goHUNT hat, which I believe this is the Trail Expert. So goHUNT Trail Expert hat, I'll be wearing that in. New piece this year I'll be carrying is the PEAX Stormcastle gaiters. I actually tried these out a little bit this spring on spring bear hunts. I think they're gonna be a really awesome gaiter. They're kind of like a souped up, outdoor research gaiter. And I always love supporting companies that support hunting. So really excited to try those out later this fall. And then for pants, since this is, dipping into some of the later season temperatures, it's kind of, unknown at this time what they'll be, but I know it's gonna be cold. So I always like to use the SITKA TIMBERLINE pants. Just a really good pant for late season. I don't get too crazy hot wearing them, but they do have enough, added warmth in there so it won't get cold. I'm sitting down glassing. And then I do have the built-in knee pads added in here. I just love having knee pads. You never know when you're gonna need them, sitting down glassing, doing things at camp, building a fire, that sort of thing. So these will be the pants I'll bring. They're a little, heavy, but they're really, really good. I actually used the Timberline pants last year in Idaho. I always use them on Montana type hunts. So Timberline's gonna be my pant of choice for this hunt. And then everyone knows, usually what I run is pretty similar, every single gear list. And everyone knows my favorite piece of all time from SITKA is the Core lightweight hoodie. It's just staple, always have to have it. Love the hood. Just a great piece for hiking, great piece for sitting around glassing. So that's gonna be my main base layer, hiking in. And then for socks and boxers, this is the SITKA Core Silk Boxer, which I don't believe they make anymore. But luckily I have a few pairs, love them. I'm only gonna pack 1 pair the entire time. No need to have extras. I will have an extra pair in my truck if I happen to come down to get food, or bring a bunch of meat down, go back up, try to kill something else. So I'll swap out boxers there, but only bring 1 on the hunt. And then for socks, this is just gonna be the Darn Tough Merino. I believe these are the full cushion. I do have another pair of Darn Tough socks at home I might swap these for, but I can only find 1 of them right now. And that's a good point to talk about why these gear lists are important to do early. This helps me realize, hey, if some of my stuff's lost in my house, I gotta find it, or figure out where holes are in my gear list and try to modify it as the season progresses. But I wouldn't know that if I, panicked and only packed like maybe a week or 2 before the hunt. This way I'm well prepared. I can throw this stuff in a box and steal pieces from there as I need to for hunts prior to that. But for the most part, I have everything laid out. I have a big Google Doc, all laid out on my gear, makes it easy to stay organized. So again, Darn Tough, full cushion socks. And I will have a liner sock underneath it. These might look like white cotton socks, but they're not. I can't remember what type of material they are. Just got these, I believe, off Amazon quite a while ago. So I always like to have a liner sock underneath my sock, my main sock. And then for belt, this is just, as you can see, just a beat up, destroyed SITKA Stealth belt. Just one of my favorite belts, so I'm gonna continue to use it. And then boots. Boots are another thing that right now I'm actually unsure exactly what I'll be using, but right now I've actually selected the SALEWA Raven 3 GTX boots. I tried these on earlier this spring, put my foot in the first time, wasn't planning on buying boots, fell in love with them right away. That's the biggest thing. Like, my foot went in there and it was happy, so I bought them. And I've bought these specifically for my hunts in October. They're actually a stiff boot, which I'm not a stiff boot fan at all, but I just fell in love with them and actually been wearing them around a lot, and they're still very comfortable for me. They don't really feel like a stiff boot. You won't be able to see on the inside, but I do have the sheep feet custom orthotics that were especially made for my feet in there. All right, so that's all the stuff I wear on my body. Now we'll jump into some of the stuff that they're extra pieces of layering that I put in my backpack for later on. And gloves are kind of one of those hybrid things. I'll use just the SITKA gunner gloves. These are my all-time favorite gloves, as you guys know. I lost a pair once, and it was a pretty sad day. I had to go buy a new pair. But I just love these for, around camp, glassing. And this is one of those things that kind of might be what I'm wearing in. If it's kind of cold out and I'm hiking in the dark, that sort of thing, I will wear these for a little while. And they're just so light and easy, I can just slip them in the pocket when I'm hiking up. So I use these. Also, since I have very long extremities and get really cold all the time, and I'm gonna be sitting up with the glassing. Glassing is the way I'm gonna utilize trying to kill a deer. And so I need to stay warm. And so that's why I always take the SITKA Blizzard GTX mitts. And I always take them with the inner little mitten there. The nice thing about these too is like I could, just use the gunner glove inside of these if I'm doing stuff and don't really need to put these on, or I can just wear these by themselves. These are also nice too if it's raining or snowing, and that way I can glass comfortably. Being able to glass comfortably is gonna enable me to find more animals, name of the game. So that's the gloves. I'll talk about some insulation pieces, which are my favorite. This is the SITKA KELVIN LITE down 3/4 pant. And so they might look a little silly, but it doesn't matter how you look when you hunt, it matters how you hunt. So I don't care how it looks. I don't really need a bunch of insulation layers further down on my leg. I always have my gaiters on when I'm hunting, and I got my TIMBERLINE pants. So these are gonna be great for sitting around glassing, and you could hike in them, but you're probably gonna get way too hot if you had to quickly move to a glassing spot. I'd probably take these off. But that's the beauty about them. I can take them off, put them on without taking my boots off. So I really love those pieces, or this piece. An extra layering piece underneath my TIMBERLINE. This is just a really old pair of ICEBREAKER. I think it's called like the 200 gram MERINO leggings. Only downfall, there's no zipper on the side, so I will have to take my boots off to use these, but in the morning, if I don't have to go too far to my glassing spot, I will put these on right away and just realize I'll be sitting down glassing all day. Just extra security when I'm in the backcountry. You never know how cold it's gonna be, and I wanna be able to hunt all day without having to go back to camp and warm up, so I'll pack these as well. Core heavyweight, all-time favorite. Well, I guess I said an all-time favorite was the lightweight. This is a great insulation piece. Wear it on pretty much all hunts. I always have it with me. So another thing I'll layer up on. And then insulation. For this hunt, I've actually gone back and forth. So I used to be a person who absolutely hated to have a soft shell jacket. Never used one. Then I started going back, started taking a soft shell on some of these like backpacking hunts, just because the soft shell is really versatile and you could, lean back against burnt logs, that sort of thing, hiking it. You're not gonna tear up your down. But it's a little heavy. So I think this year I'm going to actually take, replacing that with the SITKA Active jacket without a hood. It's not that, crazy warm of a jacket, but if I use this and then throw on the SITKA KELVIN LITE down jacket, these two pieces are going to be bomb-proof in the mountains when it gets cold. So I don't have to wear both these. If it's not going to be that cold, I can leave one on the back at camp, which is the beauty of this. But now I have a little more versatile system rather than that heavy Jetstream jacket on a true backcountry hunt. It works, but it's just heavy, and I will sacrifice a down jacket for a big mule deer any day. So rain gear, I've actually been using these the whole last year before they were released. This is the newer, updated version of the DEWPOINT jacket in pyrite. And, I got a bunch of, I think that's blood, the DEWPOINT pants. So I really like both of these. They're really lightweight. And again, most of the time it's not gonna rain too long. Another caveat, Idaho, I guess it did rain a ton last year. And so I wore these quite a bit, but it also helps too for glassing. I can sit there and add this as an extra protection for blocking wind while I'm glassing and not running around. I don't really want to tear these up because they are a little bit lighter, but they are really durable too. So I do not worry too much about hiking through a bunch of brush while wearing these. And then this is just the goHUNT waffle knit beanie. It's kind of nice. It's at night at camp or while glassing, just have a little bit extra. I do have a lot of hoods here, but sometimes having a beanie while you're sleeping just makes me a little more comfortable. And so everyone knows I'm a big Croc fan. I love wearing Crocs at camp in the mountains, but since this is going to be a steep and deep, nasty backcountry hunt, I'm not gonna bring Crocs. Probably gonna hurt saying that once I get up there, but I'm just not gonna carry the weight just for this hunt. So now I'm just gonna run into the backpack. That way I can kind of get this off the table. So this year I switched up my backpack, and because I got, you know, not a lot more gear, but you know, I got this giant SWAROVSKI BTX setup. And so I need more room in my backpack. It's not really heavier because I've lightened up some other areas, but I need a new backpack, a little bigger bag. So before I was running a Sky Archer 6400, and now I'm running the Sky Guide 7900 backpack. And on the backpack already, you can see here, I do have my bear spray holster already attached. And I got one of the little pockets here as well. And I do have the, where's it at? Oh yeah, Stone Glacier's little rifle holder already built into it. And this is on the X-Curve frame. X-Curve frame for me has worked very, very well. I beat the crap out of it, still holds up everything, very comfortable for my body. And it's just a all-around awesome pack. So I took this on a bear hunt earlier this year, and now this will be the first mule deer season with the new 7900 backpack. So I'm just gonna set that there. All right, now let's jump into the optics section. So as I said earlier, optics this year upgraded. Back in November, I purchased the BTX eyepiece just because I want to gain an edge in the mountains, and I glass all the time. A straight spotter worked really well for me, but I'm the type of person who, I glass with my 12s quite a bit, but I feel like I glass sometimes my spotter more, trying to pick apart the shadows, little small details of a deer bedded down. And so I glass one eye all the time. My left eye kind of gets strained. I've done the whole, you know, pirate patch, put my hat over it. It works, but I just want to be able to gain an edge. And I feel like this BTX is going to help me gain an edge. And right now, this is actually Cody Nelson's eyepiece. This is the 85 millimeter. I actually ordered a 115, and it should show up here any day now. Really excited to try the 115. It is going to be huge. And I'm taking it on a backpack hunt. So a lot of people might think that's crazy, but again, optics mirror everything. They help me kill, so I will sacrifice weight in optics to help find an animal. So at this time, Cody's been awesome. He's let me borrow his 85 since November, and it's been great. So I'll be swapping that out for the 115 now whenever that shows up. Then the bottom, can't remember what serial plate I have on here, but it's just a serial plate. It's one of their little longer ones. And just everything I have here is Arca Swiss, so that's why that serial plate's on the bottom. And this is also something I'm going to be very, very careful with too. I should make a note. So when this goes in my backpack, I will be wrapping it with some of my down clothes just to protect it. I don't want to put it on the side of my backpack where I might sit down really heavily and lean back when I'm exhausted. I don't want this thing to get banged up because this hurt my wallet, but it's worth it. And then tripod. So this is the Siru T004SK with the Siru VA5 head. I've had the Siru VA5 head for a ton of years, and it's the best head I've ever found. Super fluid, great for glassing with binos, great for glassing with big optics. And the question a lot of people ask, can you actually glass with this on BTX? And I've had the BTX setup with the 95 that I borrowed from good friend Blake, and it still handles that perfectly. No issues whatsoever. This is actually one of the aluminum versions, but it's still pretty compact and lightweight, because I don't really need that big tall tripod because I'm never really standing up and glassing. So that's that. Jump into binos. So this is the VORTEX Pro Bino adapter. Started using that this last year. Really love it. One thing I really like about it, I no longer have to have anything attached to my binos. That was kind of the thing I dealt with in the past because I always had the uni adapter on my binos all the time. Sometimes it gets a little hard to put in and out of the harness, so now I'll just keep this and just shove this, you know, in the back of the bino harness. Keep it always ready. But then the problem is too, you have to make sure you never forget this. Never leave this at home. Leave this near your glassing spot. Make sure you always grab it before you leave from your glassing spot. And so this is the Marsupial enclosed XL bino harness, and inside here I have the VORTEX 12 by 50 UHDs. And again, you'll see that the Pro Pro BINO adapter stud is mounted on the back of that. These fit great inside of here. And a little tip, always keep your binos tethered. Some people in this office, you guys hear me make fun of him, Neville, he'll never tether his binos. And on our bear hunt again this year, he leaned over once with these open, dumped his binos on the ground. Not something you want to have happen. And then on the side of my binos, I do have a little wind check. And then I don't have it right now, but I will be purchasing a marsupial rangefinder pouch. I've always been the person with my SIG rangefinder, I just keep it in my pocket. It works for me, it's worked for tons of years. I just got really used to grabbing it on my pocket. But I think it might be a little more beneficial. Now I've started to think about it more to finally mount it on here. So I'm gonna get a marsupial one. I do have a little tether system. I actually elected to go with the short tether. Let me put these bad boys down before I break them. You'll see here too, I actually elected to go with the short marsupial tether. Reason being, when it's on my bino harness and I let go of it, it doesn't fall very far. With the longer one, to me, it was kind of like getting in the way a little bit before I lean over and somehow I don't slip it in there and it goes down. I don't want this thing banging on anything. So again, like I just mentioned before, this is a SIG Kilo 2400 ABS, do all my ballistic stuff with it. Super awesome rangefinder for any shooting, no matter if you're a long range guy, whatever distance, but for long range practice and for getting all the atmospheric conditions doped in for my gun, this is ideal. So for me, it's a necessity. So with optics, I include a phone scope. This is just I have the 12 Pro Max phone scope, and on the back here, I have the little adapter for the BTX, which is really small. So most of the time before, I would always just leave the ring on my spotter, but it doesn't really work well to leave this on there and actually glass through it on the BTX. So I will have this always in my pocket of the Timberline pants. And again, just gotta make sure you don't lose that. And then with optics, right now, this is another great thing too, like I mentioned too, about getting your gear list set up ahead of time. I love this little HILLSOUND glassing chair. This is the 17-inch version, it's like 14 ounces. It's a great chair, great to have when it's snowing. That way I don't have to sit in the snow, but again, it's 14 ounces. So right now I'm trying to decide if it's gonna be worth it to carry in there. It's really comfortable in a glassing chair with the BTX setup. I should put this right and get these back in there. But I might actually still use my old Thermarest sleeping pad all folded up. It's just like a 3-section piece, so I don't have that here right now. I'm just deciding if it's worth carrying the extra weight for a little more comfort. So I'll decide that when the time comes, but I actually absolutely love glassing on this. All right, let's dive into the weapon. Before I move that and mess everything up, let's talk about some other accessories for the weapon. So I don't have attached right now, but obviously when I go hunting, this will be attached all the time. This is just a Quake rifle sling. Great rifle sling. I like it too because it's grippy and doesn't weigh anything. Grippy a word? Sure. And then the goHUNT gunslicker. I just mainly use this as a way to completely cover my rifle, completely cover my brake. Obviously I will put some electric tape around my brake to prevent snow, rain, debris from getting in it. But this also just prevents snow from getting in there, prevents snow from getting in my action, keeps my rifle nice in the mountains. I've actually had some friends I hunted with before. We hunted in some snowy conditions in Montana, and we left the gun in our vestibule overnight. I had this on mine, he did not, and woke up in the morning and his action was actually frozen. Like the snow started blowing in from underneath it, and this made the bolt hard to open. What if there was an animal outside our camp? He went to be able to shoot it because his action was all frozen up, and wait till it thawed out a little bit. So this just helps protect the weapon. The weapon is everything, and so this obviously doesn't add a lot of padding to it, but I just use it for protection from the weather. And I probably would use one of those stealthy rifle covers on this, but it does not fit on my rifle scope with the sunshades. That's something I'll point out too, because that's another great piece of equipment that actually protects your rifle scope and your action, but for me it does not work. And this is super, super lightweight. So next, I'll just talk quickly about the Rugged Ridge rear support. I never leave home without this. It's just a super easy piece to carry in your pocket when you're going to finally kill an animal. Set this up in the back of the gun, allows me to be super stable, and I can adjust it for elevations how I need to be. It doesn't weigh a lot like a big sandbag or anything. Obviously you can use, a sock with some lightweight material in there, but I really like this because I can just fit it right in my pocket. And then part of the weapon system as well, so this complements my SIG rangefinder. This is the Kestrel 5700 Elite weather meter. Basically has all my ballistics data in here as well. I can grab atmospheric conditions, real time, wind, enter all that in, and then I could put it into my SIG. This is another little peace of mind tool that making sure I make a perfect first shot impact on an animal and kill the animal in one shot. So I like carrying these extra tools just to help me be more prepared. But if you're going to, pick up any of these tools, you definitely got to practice with them. There's a little learning curve, how to set it up, how to sync all your gun profiles in through your phone. But once you have it all synced, it's a very easy tool to use. So I just keep that in there. Sometimes I put this in my bino harness, sometimes I just keep it in my pocket or the top lid of my backpack. And then the next part, I usually pack 10 rounds. This is a 10 round ammo holder my dad gave me way back in the day. Works really, really slick just to keep all my bullets protected, and also keeps the tips protected as well. I don't have to have any loose ammo rolling around. I don't have to have any ammo, in my bino harness sticking up that again could get dinged, that sort of thing. I'm very protective of my ammo. And this will just keep in the top lid of my pack, and then once I start making a stock towards the animal, I'll convert this over and put it in one of my pockets. And then the actual cartridges, everyone wants to know the details of that. These are just 300 Win Mag. I have Norma Brass 215 match primers, and then 215 Burger Target hybrid bullets, and H1000. I think these are 76.7 grains is what I run in my gun. And these ones are 15 thousandths off the lands. They are meat missiles. Really love these. And so I said sometimes I'll take 10. I might actually put 2 more when I'm hiking in on my short action precision 2-round ammo holder that you can see here. Which is another little versatile thing because I do single feed everything in this gun because I have them built so long so they don't really fit in the magazine on the Browning, which is 0 issues for me. It's actually really fast to practice that way and shoot that way, and especially when you really only need 1 shot to kill an animal. So next we'll just pick up this bad boy. So rifle, this is, again, Browning X-Bolt long range 300 Win Mag. It has a Macmillan A3 stock on it. One thing I love about the A3 stock is adjustable cheek piece, and on here I do have a cheek piece pad made by Weebad. Kind of great, it's a little comfort thing on here, but I also get that right cheek height. So I do have the 20 MOA pick rail on there, and it's a very, very solid stock. And the weight, I know you guys are gonna ask about the weight. I think this is right at 13 pounds, 3 ounces, if I remember right. And that's including the bipod on the end. And what else do I need to talk about on here? There's a lot of things. So it's the Vortex Razor AMG, I believe it's 6 to 24 power. And I do the flip cups on the front and the back. And again, I mentioned I have the sunshade. I have a Triad Tactical scope level. I will never leave home with any hunt without a scope level. I will never leave home on a hunt without a scope level, no matter if I'm hunting flat antelope terrain or mountain terrain. Just want to get level to make sure you're not canted side to side. And then on the top here, I have Area 419 Sidewinder Magnum brake. It's a really loud brake, but again, it helps dissipate recoil so I can actually track my impacts. It's the main thing. I want to be able to track impacts, so if I'm hunting by myself, I need to see through the scope that I hit the animal. So when I take a shot with this gun doesn't move, and I actually can watch the impact hit any sort of mule deer I'm aiming at. And on the bottom, I have Area 419. This is their improved Picatinny rail, something like that it's called. I believe it's roughly like 5 inches. And then up front here, new for this year, actually I haven't hunted with it yet, shot a bunch with it in the spring. This is the MDT SkyPod. This is the regular version. So what's great about this, there's tons of versatility. I can go really wide if I need to. And then I can just pull these out and get really stable and really wide. Or I could take these, and they actually have 3 different positions, but I could make it so I could shoot uphill. This is the biggest thing for me, is to be able to shoot uphill and shoot uphill in a stable shooting position. And so far this has been great practicing, and I can't wait to take it hunting because it just does so many different things, so many different angles. I can move it forward if I need to. And adjustments on it are endless. It is heavy, it's like 22 ounces maybe, but also got a lock lever on the front, and I could pivot this around and swivel it if I need to by unlocking it right over here. But it's a great, great bipod. I should probably put it back to where it was so I can set it down on the table. And I think that's everything. And then I said too, I have the short action precision 2-round ammo holder on the side, hold 2 of my rounds just for safety's sake. I always have some ammo ready. And And I do have a quick throw lever on the back, just helps go from full power, go down when I need to. So awesome, awesome gun. So that was a quick run through on my weapon system. I know that was really fast. If you guys have any sort of questions at all about my rifle, why I shoot what I shoot, some reload stuff, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to help. Another thing I want to touch on too before I jump into something else is, since it is a solo hunt, there is some benefit if you can do it and you have enough time and the animal's not moving to set your spotter up, put your phone scope on there, click record, get on your gun, and that way you have visual proof of if you hit the animal, if you miss the animal, if you need to give the animal more time, you will know. Because like I said, this gun is very great for being able to track the impacts, but hunting situations, you never know how things unfold, and sometimes it's nice just to go back to your phone and verify, yes, you hit that animal, especially if you're hunting some other stuff like a black bear or anything dark color that's hard to see blood on it right away. You'll be able to verify you made an impact with the phone scope. So I do try to do that when I'm hunting on solo. So that's all that stuff. Let's jump into sleep system. Ooh, wait. Forgot these guys. Don't want to forget those. So it's just the cheapest little ear protection I can find. And I say this every freaking time, that I always have these on my neck and I forget to throw them in. I need to get better at that. I always shoot them on the range, but just this last year in Idaho, I rocked my dome hard. There's a big burnt tree next to my brake. When I shot my buck, and then my left ear was demolished for that whole afternoon. So I need to get better at putting these on. Have them around my neck, got to make sure you use them. So let's go sleep system. So for sleeping, this guy right here is a fully compressed seek outside little bug out with the 3-piece vestibule, and there's a bunch of extra guy lines I put on there and that sort of thing, but it packs super, super tight in this Sea Summit. I think it's an extra small compression sack. So it's just really nice. It doesn't take up a lot of space in my backpack. That's why I try to compress it as small as I could. And if they made something that's smaller than extra small, like an extra, extra small, let me know, because I could actually probably get this a little bit smaller. Just try to save a little bit of space in my backpack. So I use that, and then for stakes, I tried to count them out earlier when I was weighing everything and doing all this stuff, but I believe I need 16 total stakes. And I have a little variation of stakes. I can't remember where I got these, what these are called, but these are just some little bigger aluminum stakes. I kind of like these because they grip the ground a little bit better, and they're longer too. So again, a teepee kind of sits, a little bit taller. If I get wind, I want to make sure it's locked down, so I'll use these all around the tent. And then these other ones, I don't know if they actually sell these anymore. Made by Rudda Lakura way back in the day. These are just basically like an arrow, carbon fiber arrow with a little tip at the end, and then these little tops glued on. So these would be for a bunch of my guy lines. So again, you can see the size difference here. I use these ones for the tent mainly, and these ones for my guy lines, and these ones barely weigh anything. That's why I really love them. And so I'm just trying to save a little bit of weight, because again, I had a BTX and some heavier optics. And I got a 13-pound gun, so I got to save some weight where I can. So that's stakes for the teepee. And then since it is a October hunt, and I would not be able to survive without a stove, just being able to stay dry off all my gear, and just a little bit of mental reassurance while you're out there, I will bring a Seek Outside titanium stove. This is the large version. Talked about quite a bit before about the size differences between a large, medium. They even now have the U-turn, which would probably be great. But to me, every time I'm sitting there breaking sticks with my feet, or breaking sticks with my foot, I think it would be, they always break a little bit too long to try to fit in some of those smaller stoves. So these aren't actually that much more weight to carry the large. And I do have a saw as well, but sometimes I would rather, put a rock down, break the sticks, that sort of thing. This is just the, what's this called? Oh, Silky. And then for the saw, this is just a Silky, I think it's the F180, and this is the large tooth saw. The large tooth, in my experience, works way better than anything else on cutting any sort of branches. So I try to use this last resort, maybe cutting some of those bigger log pieces to put in the stove. But it's great to have, and it only weighs like 5 ounces. So we'll have to bring this to get extra wood for that if I can't break it with my foot. So that's that. And then inside the teepee, I also have a short section, actually not short section, I mean short section, It's I cut a little bit narrower just for my sleeping pad. I just want to protect the sleeping pad when I'm out there because, yeah, most of the time it's needles and nice grass, but you never know where you're going to camp, if there's going to be rocks or that sort of thing. And I really don't want to pop my pad, so I bring this little small, super lightweight Tyvek ground sheet. It's really great, doesn't take up any space in my pack too, which is also very beneficial. And then the pad, just a new Thermarest Neo Air Uber Light, and this is the long, or I guess they call it the large version. Great R value, and actually fits my body, which on these, getting towards the later season hunts, I actually want a full length pad just to add a little bit of warmth. Even though I do have a stove, sometimes I don't wake up enough to stoke the stove, so at least I have a little bit of insulation on the bottom of my sleeping bag. And then I just had to buy this, and actually was very sad. I had to buy a new pillow. This is the Big Agnes AXL pillow. It's actually a lot lighter than the pillow I've been running, but I jinxed myself on the last bear video. I said, oh, don't know why I haven't popped this pad yet. I've had it for years. Popped my pillow the first night when I was bear hunting, so I had to buy a new one, and I was not able to fix it. So that one got retired, and now I got a new one, and it's lighter. So I guess it's going to be a little bit beneficial in that sense. And then also for the seek outside, little bug out, I will run or use these two poles and just interchangeable. As you can see, I probably need to get some new poles. These are the Black Diamond Ergo cork. I think I got these like 13, 14 years ago. Beat the crap out of them, took them to British Columbia, took them all over the place, and I just use these like this, put them in there and adjust the length as I need to for the teepee height. So it works really well, but probably need to get a new one. These are getting really bent and beat out of shape. Beat out of shape? Can't talk. Also on the end here, I do throw some, this is just some Gorilla Tape. And normally I have some electrical tape, but I got to resupply there just so I have some extra tape if I need to fix anything while I'm out hunting. And then two, these are really going to be really great for packing out an animal going downhill. So I really don't use these going uphill unless it's super nasty, but you definitely use these packing meat downhill to save my legs. So that's part of that. Let's go into sleeping bag. So what's the sleeping bag called? KELVIN AeroLite, 30-degree bag. All right, so let's go into sleeping bag next, which is the SITKA KELVIN AeroLite 30-degree bag. And so here's the front. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it all over the internet lately. Really cool bag. I actually had the early release version I got last year in 2020 of September. I actually took this exact bag on my Idaho hunt last year. Really loved it. Just love how versatile it is. It adds that extra insulation piece if I need to, take this, take it to glassing if it's really close to camp. And it's only an extra, 2.5 some pounds to carry my backpack all day. If it's gonna be really cold, I want to stay in glass because it is very versatile. You have these arm slots on the side. I can stick my arms out. If I wake up in the morning and it's really cold out and I don't want to start my fire, I have all that warmth trapped in my sleeping bag, and I want to be able to make coffee or do whatever I want to do and trap all that heat in. So I'll just stick my arms out, do a bunch of stuff in the morning. Really cool piece, has a great hood on it, and you actually can unzip this part, lash this bottom part up, and you actually could go around, walk around your camp, or like I said, you can sit in a glassing knob, put this on, walk around, that sort of thing. So it's a really great piece, and you might ask why 30-degree bag? Well, again, like I always mention, I have all this extra down, all these extra insulation layers with, so I really don't need a 0-degree bag. I don't need a 15-degree bag. I can use a 30, and I have all these extra layers. I'm packing them anyway, I might as well use them. So that's why I've always really enjoyed some lighter weight sleeping bags. And like I said, I've used this a ton last year in Idaho, brought this on a bunch of other hunts last year as well. It just got released here less than a month ago. So great bag. And then stuff sack, I think this is a size small Sea to Summit compression sack. It actually fits it very, very well. So that's those things. What else do we got? Oh, 16 steaks. Right, tie that ground sheet, pillow. Boom. Ooh, that definitely could go into here. So last part about camping is, since you guys saw earlier, I mentioned I do have bear spray on the outside of my backpack. I am going to be in black bear country, potential of, you never know, you're hunting in the mountains in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, potential for grizzly bears. So I do hang all my food and try to keep these, you know, hang my food well away from camp. And this is just the Z-PAX slick line cord. I will say sometimes this freaking thing gets a little bit too slick and will tear apart your hands trying to hoist something up, especially when you're by yourself. But it's a great cordage. And the great thing about the slickness of it, you throw it up and over a tree branch, it's not going to get caught. That's the biggest pain. If you use a normal P cord and starts to get frayed a little bit, it'll actually like catch up there, and then your food is stuck and you can't get it down, and you have to climb up the tree. Don't ask how I know. And there's an old, really beat up carabiner on the end of that. And then I don't know if I say I will. I'm contemplating not carrying a little dry sack here for my food, because I have all these game bags, which we'll get on in a little bit. And game bags, for the most part, I don't need them until I kill an animal. So a lot of times I'd have used these just to hang my food in. I don't really care that they get wet, because all my food on the inside is in Ziploc bags, or, you know, my freeze dried is all protected. So it doesn't really matter if it gets rained on. And that way, once I kill, if I need to hang meat or whatever, I can come back, dump my food, do something else with my food, and then get the meat and bring it back over. So undecided yet if I want to carry it. Not much weight at all, so I probably will, but just letting you guys know, you don't really need to have one of these for storing your food. You could use a game bag. Or if you're hunting with one of your friends, you guys have multiple game bags, just use one of your game bags, because you guys will be able to trade later on. Okay, let's jump into random little pieces of gear. And unfortunately, some of my random pieces of gear are just in some of my bags on the table. But this is the Stone Glacier Camp Pocket, I believe it's called. This is basically what I have, what I would consider my kill kit. And it also has a bunch of my extra miscellaneous stuff too in the gear category. So, toilet paper. My camera guy on hunts always hates me when I have to give him toilet paper, because I actually weigh out exactly what toilet paper I need for the hunt. And it comes down to like 0.99 ounces, roughly an ounce of toilet paper. And again, like I said, this is going to be 5 days, so I can come back down and get more. I don't need a ton of toilet paper. I don't need those little wipes some people use. Just toilet paper, that's all you need. Hunting license, first aid kit. I know Charles talked about his first aid kit and how he's thinking about revamping it. And I believe I might need to do that at some point too. It's very, very minimalist. We've got some bandage and gauze. I do have some waterproof matches in here as well, but there's not a lot in there. So after, might give some thought to this and change this up a little bit, but it's really lightweight. Again, I've never had to use it, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't pack some extra stuff just in case. What else do we got in here? I was trying to grab my lighters. I always carry 2 lighters all times. 1 lighter I'll leave back at camp, 1 lighter I'll leave on me, just in case I get stuck out there. And this lighter you see here does have some Leuco tape wrapped around if I get a little bit of hot spots on, you know, my heels, that sort of thing, or if I need to repair some gear while I'm out glassing, I can use that. And then again, I got the little tiny one. So 2 lighters. And this is another area that I'm thinking I might switch up, which again is why you do these early. It gives me time to think and prepare and weigh pros and cons of doing this. So I've carried 2 knives now for a little bit. This is the replaceable blade goat knife Capra Hunter TI. And as I've mentioned a million times, this has the little 1/4-inch bits on the back. And these are the 2 common sizes I have. This one fits my tripod. So a bunch of my little tripod components, my tripod gets loose, I can just put that on there, put that in the back there, and tighten it up. Great multi-purpose. And again, uses replaceable 60A scalpel blades. So thinking about just maybe carrying that, I can save, you know, maybe 4 or 5 ounces from not carrying the goat knives nitro tur with the sheath, and then with the work sharpener. So I'm thinking maybe just carry a few extra blades. I don't really need this. I'm just deer hunting. I will have a bear tag, and states that have wolf tags, I do pick up wolf tags as well. So I'm thinking about not bringing that and just carrying some extra blades. But normally I carry, I think I got like six extra blades already. So I got some blades. In here, this is a little Z-PAX Cuban fiber bag. Usually I keep my license here as well. And inside here, I keep an extra rangefinder battery. So this is always on me at all times. You never know when my rangefinder battery is going to go bad, even though I'll change it before the hunting season. And then also, I do have some rubber bands. And rubber bands are just for putting around the deer's nose right after I kill a deer to start that, rigor mortis process. So the trophy photos later on are a little bit cleaner. I don't have to deal with The nose falling open if I want to take photos right away. So I'll just do that while I'm getting everything set up and just making nice photos for memories later. So photos are big to me, so I like to make sure I have stuff I need to take quality images of animals in the field. And also, I just have another little, I guess not another, I have a little bit on my trekking poles, but just some more electrical tape, again, for wrapping the barrel and fixing gear and whatnot. And then part of my water purification process, this is Aquamira, part A, part B. As you can see here, I need to relabel part A and relabel part B because it does wear off, but I just converted these into little ultralight droppers. These will last forever. The big ones will last you 3 years. So I don't need to carry, I'm just trying to save ounce, 2 ounces here and there for the setup. So I have this little ultralight dropper and a little cap on the top. And then here's just my little ultralight toothbrush. This one's made by PEAX as well. I don't have the handle on the back, tiny. And then this is a very, very small piece of toothpaste. Again, just trying to save ounces in random places. So that's a bunch of that gear in what I call like my kill kit. Just gonna put it back to organize some things a little bit. Jump into headlamps. Big promoter of carrying extra headlamps when you're in the mountains. You never know when one's going to break, batteries are going to die, and you need to get out, especially when you're hunting in grizzly country, or you're trying to track an animal or track blood in the dark, working around camp, that sort of thing. So we'll carry both these at all times, and both of these run on a rechargeable. So I can just plug in a little cord in the back, charge this off a dark energy, or I could plug it into a solar panel. So I really like that feature. I don't have to carry batteries. Don't want to have loose AAAs running around or freak out that I forgot to buy batteries on the way up there. I know these are fully charged and I can charge them off other things that I have here. So I always carry 2. And I guess I should name what they are. Petzl Actic and then the Petzl Reactic Plus. And this one I don't even think they make anymore. I've had it for freaking ever and it's a stud of a headlamp. So headlamps, gotta have them. I mentioned these earlier, but I do carry 4 of the Caribou Gear Carnivore 3, basically they're ultralight game bags. I don't need 4, but I will carry a 4th one mainly for the hide. So kill mule deer, I cape it out at camp, skull cap it with a knife or with a saw, and then I'll throw the hide in there to get the hide all nice and don't get my pack all full of hide or damage the hide and that sort of thing. So 4 mainly because of the hide, but 3 will definitely do a fully deboned mule deer easily. What else we got? We got another bag here. This is the other Stone Glacier. I think this is the swing out pocket. Sorry, SG boys, if I butchered that, but I believe it's a swing out pocket. And this is mainly like my optics accessory thing, optics cleaning gear, and some of my charge cord. So I have a little, I can't remember how to pronounce it, Giotto's rocket air blower. It's a really small one. Again, cleaning off lenses, cleaning off my camera. Dark Energy Poseidon, this is their OG version. I think they have a new Pro one now. These work very well for me. I was actually thinking about getting a different one that actually has a little bit more charge power. It weighs a little bit more. It would make sense to carry the other one, but since I have a solar panel as well, I don't really need a giant one. I just need like a little small one. And with drains, I'll just put this on the solar panel, praying you have sun to use the solar panel. It's got a little lens pen. Got a bunch of Zeiss wipes. I don't know how many are in here. 10, 15 Zeiss wipes. Cleaning optics again. Since I'm by myself, I have a self-timer remote for my Sony camera. And then I have a very, very tiny little micro USB cord again for my inReach and for my headlamps. And then an iPhone cord to charge my iPhone. And that's it. And since I just talked about my inReach Mini, I always carry this guy, backcountry peace of mind, be able to text my wife. I can do work-related things if I need to, but I try to avoid that at all costs when I'm hunting. And I always have this attached to my BINO harness. One more piece of miscellaneous gear. Since I am going to a state that has wolf tags, I am a big promoter of picking up wolf tags in case you see one. So I have here one of my OG coyote haulers from way back in the day. This is a Randy Anderson edition coyote hauler. So I will use this to try to locate wolves I will not use this until I have killed the deer though. Deer is first priority. But once I kill a deer and I'm still up there, I will sit there and try to, or if I hear some wolves going off, I might switch and try to kill a wolf. So I pack this, it's super light. I can use it without the end, it's like 2 ounces. So I'll pack that in because I do have a wolf tag. I think I have a couple wolf tags actually. So that's not a miscellaneous piece of gear. All right, so now we will jump over into cooking and water purification and kind of how I store my water. So this is the Sawyer squeeze system. This is the Sawyer Micro, and this is just really slick system. Just goes on the end of it. You fill this up, and then you have clean water. It's also great too because it has another little reservoir too, so I could have an extra 1 liter of water and just put this on. The water's gonna stay in there, and I can toss it in my backpack or put it on the outside of my backpack and carry some extra water up to camp. So I already have the Aquamirror drops, but I also have this as well. If I get to a better stream situation, I'll use this. And then since water is a very hard commodity to get, I also bring along the MSR Drome Light. I believe this is a 6 liter version. Just again, carrying around, melting a bunch of snow. That's gonna be the biggest thing for this, and I'll explain snow here in a little bit. Snow is the reason why I carry a Nalgene. This is the goHUNT Nalgene. Last year in Idaho, there was no water while the deer were. The only place I could get water was snow. So every night I would fill this up with a bunch of snow. I would fill up my little stove here, full of snow, put this on my Seek Outside titanium stove, let the snow start melting a little bit. Once it got to a point where it's melting, I'd either, I'd try to conserve fuel, so I would not, light my stove. I would take that hot water, dump it into here, shake it up really quickly, get a bunch of water. We'll say, watch out for the pine needles, although I did have some before who commented that pine needles are actually a good source of, I think he said vitamin C or vitamin A. But the pine needles actually make water taste freaking horrible. So since water is very hard to get sometimes in the high country and there's gonna be snow, I will try to utilize snow, and that's why I carry this, just to have a bunch extra water at camp and keep melting snow throughout the night. Because I already have that stove rocking, I might as well make water at the same time if there's snow available. And then when I mentioned snow, I forgot one piece from my backpack. So this is the Stone Glacier Rainfly. And last year in Idaho, there was a bunch of snow nearby my camp, and I wanted to take it near my tent, or bring it to my tent. And so I actually used this, brought it open, dumped a bunch of snow in there, and then carried a bunch of water back to my camp, and then was able to use this. And I actually set this out one night too when it was raining. I tried to pitch this in between a bunch of trees, and actually helped me collect a bunch of water. It made it a lot easier to get water when there was no streams or water sources anywhere nearby. I wish I was a mule deer and didn't need water all the frickin' time. Stove, so I normally carry that MSR wind burner stove. It's a phenomenal stove, boils water super fast, but it's a little bit heavier. And this year I decided I had to cut some weight, so I went back to, if you guys remember my really ultralight backpacking gear list from way back in the day, I had this little stove system that I made. This is the Jetboil, I don't think I make it anymore, the Soul TI cup, and I actually cut some little grooves in the bottom of here to fit this little system in there, but I'll show you in a second. This is a carbon fiber lid, really lightweight lid. And then for the stove part, this is actually a BRS 3000 little tiny thing. I don't even think this weighs an ounce. This is the stove burner part, and actually can fit in these little cut grooves I made in there. So it gets really close to there and boils water super fast. And I just have a random, this is just a snow peak, one of the little small ones. And here's the other cool part of this system. So I have I'm gonna butcher what these are actually called, but this little piece, this is a piece of titanium. It goes on the inside of here on these little fans, as you can see around here. It goes like that, and then that stove will sit on there and helps it boil a lot faster. If you didn't have this system and you're trying to melt snow on a titanium pot, those little things. One thing I'll mention about these older Jetboil systems, especially these titanium ones, these little fans on the bottom. Again, I can't remember what they're freaking called, but these little fans, we try to boil water or boil snow since it's getting so hot. Those have actually melted before and completely melted off my titanium cup. So this little titanium piece, when you put it on there, helps to prevent that. And then this is also this little piece that goes on the bottom here. to help with making it boil faster without wind affecting the flame. So this whole setup, I can't remember what it weighs, but it is stupid light altogether. Nothing. Doesn't weigh anything at all. So I'm trying to save a little bit of weight there. And then the titanium spork by Sea to Summit. This is the long version. I used to use a small one back in the day for freeze-dried meals, but when you use this short version, you are having to dig into your freeze-dried and can get your hands all nasty. So it does not weigh that much more. So I was like, what the hell? Might as well get the longer one. And then with all this stuff about water, I do pack a bunch of, these are salt pills. They're salt electrolyte pills. If you get cramps, that sort of thing, it just helps prevent that. And I do have some random assortments of Advil in there. You can usually pop, a couple salt pills a day throughout the hike. And then if I need to resupply this later, like I said, go back, get more food, I will put some more of those in there. So I got those. This is not part of water, but there is my bear spray. And the last part of my water is the Platypus Big Zip Evo. This is the 3 liter. This is way better than their older systems. Their older systems had a big issue with this little part falling off. I haven't had this fall off yet in my backpack, knock on wood, because if that would fall off, your whole backpack gets a bunch of water inside of it, which is bad. And then the biggest thing to me is the Big Zip top. So this is just huge for, if I have to use a Sawyer squeeze, or if I'm using Aquamira drops and I just need to stick this into a stream source or shove it full of snow, which is another great thing to do with this, is just easier because it's so open. I can get water, snow, that sort of thing in there. And then again, you just got this little tube that connects on there, which is another great feature too, because I can leave this in my backpack and then just take this off without having to take everything out when I need to do some stuff to that. So, all right, one last thing. I touched on it briefly earlier, but I do not have any of my food list laid out for this October timeframe mule deer hunt. So if you guys really want to see exactly what I carry, usually it's very similar to my other gear list when I've actually covered my food. Let us know in the comments, and I'd be happy to create a full-on video going through my food list, exactly what I carry and why I carry it. So we could save that one for another video, but I just didn't want to complicate things a little more because this is already a really long video. So I avoided the food for this one, but if you guys want to, I'll definitely do a food one to follow this up. In a nutshell, now I'm all disorganized over on the table here, but that is everything I carry on an October timeframe mule deer hunt. Again, this is a solo hunt. There's a lot of different gear here. Obviously, gear lists are very personable, so you don't need exactly what I'm running here. Whatever you have will work for your hunt. These are just stuff that, for me, over the years, I've tailored down to what works and what doesn't work, and that's what makes it into my gear list. And ultimately, that's why I build these gear lists so far in advance. I have Google Sheets. I have Excel spreadsheets with, graphics and little pie charts showing all my gear, showing my weight, showing where my prices are. If I'm spending too much money on certain gear, just to plan out my gear list, because these pieces of gear here help me stay comfortable, help me stay safe, and help me kill animals. So that's why my gear list is what it is. And you guys have any questions at all about what I'm carrying, why I'm carrying, or suggestions on what you carry, like I said, I'm carrying a couple different insulation pieces. You have a better option, let me know. Glad to hear your thoughts. Drop in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we got a bunch more coming. So best of luck to everyone this fall.